Hello and welcome to my retake, my do-over video. I do apologise for sending out the last video without checking the audio. So the topic still remains the same, end of an era, an end of an era. And you will have read my newsletter by now at the actual blog, the written blog that I've sent out to you all. And it has been for September, right from the 1st of September, right through into the first week in October, just a change in our family circumstances and things that have been happening, things that were normal have now changed into a new normal. And when we come to that end of an era, when we're closing a chapter in our life, we have to be really brave. We have to go into our heart space and we have to really engage in ourselves to ensure that there's no lingering feelings of regret or remorse or guilt or just attachment, I suppose is another word, to where we've come from. I know for us, COVID-19 has made us change quite dramatically and moving location, leaving Shands Road, a place that initially I really struggled to move into. I really thought I was undeserving of living in such a wonderful, wonderful space. So beautiful, such a magnificent home. And I think over the 7 years that we're there, the changes within our families, the birthing of the Phoenix Light Foundation Academy, the letting go of my old business, the recreation and the formulation and just the growth of our family business, and actually the growth of our son. Our son was a teenager when we moved into Shands Road, and he's had lots of changes in his life. To the point where he's ready to move on to the next chapter in his life. He will be moving to Australia, and that will be another end of an era and a new beginning for him. I think that wintertime, it does make us think about where we've been and where we're going. And I've got this lovely spring-like background today. And the new shoots of growth. I've surrounded myself in this giant grass. I feel like a little Thumbelina in amongst all these tall grasses. But it's about the newness, the growth that's still there. And I don't know what the next 7 years will bring. I don't know what the next chapter is going to be. But what I do know is that I'm really excited about it. What I do know is that I'm leaving a place and I'm happy to leave that place with no regrets. And I'm really happy to close the book on where we've been in the last 7 years, knowing that I've got a brand new chapter to create, a new place to be, a new place to go where I can invest my energy and really, I suppose, take myself into the next level of learning, because there's always opportunities. There's always new things to learn and gain and new things to capitalize on, if you like, from where I've been in the past, but I'm not attached to the past. That's really the key thing. That's the key thing. So I wonder if that has been your experience in September. We're coming up for change globally. We're coming up for change for us here in New Zealand within our government structure. America obviously has their big change coming up. Britain has their big change coming up at the end of the year. Europe has a huge shift of power and dynamic at the end of the year with the whole Brexit. So chapters are ending, whether it be a 4-year chapter, a 1-year chapter, an end of an era, Britain leaving the European Union. I was a young girl when we joined the European Union back in the 1970s, and I remember our coins all changing. I remember our thoughts having to change, and I used to teach European studies is one of my little training posts that I had, and how to be a European, how to be British while still being part of the European Union. So these are big changes that are coming up. End of an era, both maybe for you personally, I know for me personally, yes, but we're seeing changes globally. And what will that impact be? What will the world look like as we move forward? What will your world look like as you move forward? I know for myself, as I reflect on where I've come, I look at the Phoenix Light Foundation. We had amazing course registrations last month with a variety of courses. I think that's what really, I'm going to use the word tickles me. It's what tickles me, in that there's not just one course, and that was the whole aspect of the Phoenix Light Foundation. It's not just one course type that's being purchased, but a range of courses, from people joining the Angelology course. The Arcturian Light Healing course is phenomenal. That is so popular. We sell, or we have new registrations on that course monthly. So people are wanting to raise their vibration, work with new light beings, maybe instill new tools in their healing toolbox, both for their own personal development, which absolutely with the Arcturian light healing will definitely be there, because we train you how to think differently. You've got an amazing range of symbols to use in that healing course. There's 22 symbols altogether. And so there's just this real sense of, I suppose, a real sense of opportunity within the Phoenix Light Foundation, and people taking charge of their own spiritual development, their own metaphysical wellness. What I am grateful for with COVID, it might sound a bit strange, is that people are less intimidated by this, me conversing with you online via video. People are less intimidated by it. They understand how it works. I've been using this technique for 5 years, and I think with COVID, and we've all had to communicate slightly differently, then the online academy has really gained traction, because people understand what it feels like to listen to someone in their own home, getting that personal tuition. And that's one of the things that comes from the students who are already registered within the academy, that they feel that I'm talking to them in a one-to-one class situation, which they really enjoy. So it's an end of an era. I have to say, I'm re-recording this video because something happened to the microphone. I'm not quite sure what it was, but we're re-recording this video today. And this time last week, we were looking as a family of that final shift, that final move from where we were in one part of Christchurch coming to this part. Was the final aspect of just clearing everything out of the house. And as I sit here and I'm looking out at my garden in this house, I feel really excited. I feel excited for our plans for the garden. I feel excited of just having my energy in one space, of being really centered and not being so fragmented, supporting energy in this location, that location. At one point, we had 4 different locations before COVID, and now we're down to 2 locations, which is wonderful. So I've definitely brought myself back, and that's the end of an era, an end of having to be this multidimensional supporting energy everywhere. It's all focusing back in on what really matters. And maybe that's something that you have found in September. Maybe that's an aspect of your life that you're now connecting to and really focusing on. It's about me. It's all about me. And it's good to be a little bit selfish. It's good to put oneself first. And that's what I mean by selfish, coming back to self and coming back to what is important for you, coming back to what feels right for you, and starting a new chapter in your life where it's about your growth, your spiritual awareness, your development, your expansion of your world, and new opportunities that lie out there for you. So September was hello, goodbye, goodbye, hello. It was all of that going on, physically exhausting, lots of bumps and bruises, but so worth it. So worth the effort and the energy and the pain. It was so worth it. So that's what my newsletter was really all about. In the video, I also talked about my physical classes. So we've got Reiki, 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 Reiki through to the end of the year. So we've got our 3 levels of attunement, level 1, 2, and 3. So level 1, for those of you who have maybe, like ourselves, like myself, come to an end of a chapter, and physically, what is physically supporting you now might not be what you need. That's what level 1's all about. It's where you are physically in your world. And that is connected to both family and friends and work and physical space. It's just your physical world. Level 2 is that mental, emotional support mechanism and how that correlates together, how the mind is a really wonderful tool. It can manifest both positive and negative experiences in our lives. So we're looking at that, and we're looking at the body as a barometer of where you are mentally and emotionally. What is our body showing us by way of symptoms, by way of aches and pains and whatever's going on there? And we learn our Reiki symbols. We'll learn 3 of them. Reiki 3 is it's the top level of attunement, and it's where we master ourselves. You get the master symbol in Reiki 3, and it's our spiritual body we're dealing with. It's about how we develop tools. We're in mastership of our lives, so that when things like COVID come into our life, we can find the skills, develop the skills that we need, that helps us glide through these situations, being in mental and emotional stillness, having the capability to deal with life's dramas, traumas, and not lose control, not lose ourselves to it, not give ourselves over to these situations and lose ourselves. So that's the 3 attunements. But I've also put out for the end of October, I think, beginning of November, the advanced Reiki healing course. You don't necessarily need to be Reiki attuned. You can just be interested in your own healing skills. And I've worked in collaboration with, or I collaborated with Brent Bevell, and he brought forward a book which I really found fascinating. It was one of my Reiki master teachers, actually, who told me to look at this book. His work is really interesting, and it takes healing onto that hugely higher level of tools, working with holographic healing, working on raising your vibration, your frequency up to that 8th dimensional level upwards, rather than being this 5th dimensional being. He also talks about symbols. We look at some of the symbols where we can be really consciously aware of what we're doing and how to move forward. It's an amazing course. It's been quite some years since I've done the course. I usually do it as a weekend retreat out and about somewhere, but obviously with COVID, that's not an option now. Or it's just becoming an option now. But I'm going to do it from my home setting here in Christchurch. It's 2 days, and it's a deeply healing course. The people who have come in that course have had amazing changes in their life, without a shadow of a doubt. And that some of them were Reiki trained, some of them were not Reiki trained, but we call it advanced Reiki because I want to honour Brett's work, and we refer to him throughout the course and where he was coming from. So what I've done is taken his work and sort of simplified it almost, and I've pulled out the healing tools that I think are the most progressive, that people, I think, would really enjoy. So it's Reiki. That's where we are this month, this next few months. So looking forward to seeing you on those courses, and in the newsletter, just click on the links and you'll be guided all the way through. And our spiritual masterclass, thank you guys for just taking the time out and turning up. I am so blessed. Thank you, both from here in New Zealand and across in Australia. These are free monthly spiritual classes where you get to talk to me, we have a dialogue. The speech bubble, we're using the messaging service or app within the tool for our last class, which was on the Akashic Records. And it was really lovely just seeing the questions, the conversation coming in, the questions became the conversation. So a huge thank you to everyone who really did participate fully in that and immersed themselves in that. So what has come from that, which was always my hope, that the spiritual clinic, the conversations would then spur on the next level of conversation. So one of the ladies that participated, she enjoyed the course, but some of the terminology I used, she wasn't quite sure what that meant. So I am working, we're going to work that into this month's spiritual clinic, which is the ascension process. What are those words? What is ascension? What are initiations? Who are the ascension teachers? Who are the ascension masters? What is your monad? What is your higher self? How does that connect? Who is source? What is source? So all of those things will have a really deep dialogue, and hopefully, especially for that particular student, she just loves my online platform. She'll be participating and will hopefully answer her questions. So the link is on the newsletter. Just click and register your interest. It's free. You'll get a couple of emails just to remind you that the talk is coming up, and there's always a special offer open only to the students who attend the spiritual clinic. So there is a special offer coming to you. And many thanks to the students who took up the opportunity of the last offer that was in our last class. So that's where we're going with the Phyllis Brown newsletter. I hope you like the new format. I've trimmed it down, made it a little bit simpler. So yeah, I hope you like that new format. And we'll see you hopefully in our newsletter next month. And I apologize for the dodgy video that has occurred in this one, but obviously I needed to redo my video for some reason and get a different message out. And we'll see you in the spiritual clinic. So until the next time, take care for now. Namaste, everyone.